What is up? My name is Kyle. I am with Danny. This is Edited Truth. We're back at it. Today we are talking one of my favorite. I would say one of my favorite. He's up there. He's up there. At least he was at a certain time, I will say. Favorite directors. Robert Rodriguez.
Career span wise.
Career span wise, we're checking. We're talking about him because that Spy Kids movie's coming out that he did, which I'll talk about because I watched it.
What?
And I should say I watched it and then I instantly went, "This was a mistake."
I could have told you that, but that's brave of you.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Will we call it the Spy Kids film?
The Spy Kids of all Spy Kids films. No.
Is
no,
it at least not about the Spy Kids' kids?
It's about the but no, it's not.
It's not like a generation of Spy Kids.
That's what I was hoping and expecting, right?
Zachary Levi, he wasn't the grown-up Spy Kid? Oh, we don't even need to talk about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I was so checked out that I did. Maybe it was his name. Do you remember the name of the Spy Kid? Like, was that... Unless they say, like... Unless they give me a flashback to the original, I would have never known.
I vicariously saw one of them, like, hanging out with one of my cousins one time, and I was just like, this is terrible. This is terrible. But, yeah, I know nothing about that franchise.
Interesting. We'll get into it. We got some news, of course. Mm-hmm. But... before we start that, we got some good, the bad, and the ugly too.
Yeah,
but before that, we're gonna start, as always, with a little bit of cringe. Danny, are you ready for the cringe fest?
Yes, I am.
The cringe sound didn't go off.
It didn't go off. It did in my head, and it sounded more like a scream.
Did it?
Yeah.
Interesting. It was like ah.
Yeah, like the cringe guy was getting murdered in the process of like what he was seeing. It's like Ark of the Covenant. He's like melting.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Oh, that's vicious. Okay. Let's start off with these really, really cool guys here. You ready for this?
No.
Here we go.
13 Virgins?
Here we go.
It's the title.
Casey.
Oh, I see what they're doing. This is savage.
Are cool. These are some cool guys right here, Danny. Look
what
at
did they build?
Is that like Beyblades or something?
I think they just all built really cool
their own
belts that could transform into different things.
Super Sentai belt thing?
Yeah. It's like they have their own Power Ranger belts. That guy hardly put any effort into his.
I know.
This guy's got a knife that like rotates. That's pretty cool. Okay. That guy was straight up Super Sentai. He looked like a Power Ranger on his belt at least.
Okay. Oh, whoa. Shit, he's got form.
Oh, and it rotates like it's a giant fidget spinner built into his belt. These are all they really liked Connects or like one of those. What was the step above Connects?
Oh,
that was like the metal.
No, the metal ones though.
Yeah, not like Roblox. Or were they Roblox? No.
Oh, I forgot the name, but I know exactly.
It was in the Sandlot. Like he just spent his whole summer building one of those. And the mom was like, "You need to get the fuck out of the house.
Get the fuck out of here."
Get a social.
Dennis Leary.
Yeah. He fucking kills the black guy. I see these guys. Maybe I don't know.
Cool.
I mean, unless there was a girl they know that's super into engineering at that age, they're probably 13 virgins.
Cool. All right. You think these doves are okay?
Okay, let's find out. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh no! That truck pulling a trailer saw to it. So they ceremoniously released the doves into oncoming traffic, though. Wait. Like,
why
are we really
it so close to the freeway, highway, road, whatever that's going 60
there's
at
like
least?
a highway right there, and they're on the shoulder in this like what is this, like a wedding or a quinceañera? What's going on?
I don't know.
Funeral maybe?
It's a funeral. It's clearly a funeral.
Everyone's
wearing. Everyone looks mourning.
Well, like they kind of. I don't know. The white doves could have been like symbolistic for. But seriously, they were right on the side of the road. Traffic was already passing when they did that.
All right. Let's see what's going on in France, shall we? This guy's going to tell us what's up.
I've come to the Louvre, the home of fine arts. Even the Mona Lisa is inside. But what am I surrounded by? Look at these pricks here, look. They're putting their arm out as if they're touching top of it in a fucking influencer dickheads. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm surrounded by cunts.
I like it. I like also how he said the Louvre in the beginning. Like he was about to cough also.
Yeah.
Seize out.
Yeah, he's not having it. Look at those people.
Yeah, they were
just
posing.
hanging out.
That is pretty cringy.
The fact that everyone's doing the same
so
thing.
much. Yeah, so it's the entire Pisa pictures you see where
Yeah,
everyone's doing
the
there's like
thing.
6 people at
Oh my
once,
God,
and you're like, you're
yeah.
all so creative. I want to die.
It's ridiculous.
Just live. Just live, please.
Check out this cool English teacher.
All right.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Fucking. You fucking bitch. You fucking bitch. 뭐야? 이런 말도 되죠 이게? 어? 그 뭐야 이게? You fucking son of a bitch. You fucking son of a bitch. 이런 씨발 개자식아 이거죠. 그럼 이제 합쳐서 할 수도
he's
있죠.
telling
합쳐서.
some important narrative there. I mean,
I like it.
when you look at it, you got to understand the culture too and the people. So he's just like, if you really want to, someone's busting your balls, this is how you bust it back.
It's good.
His English was like perfect too. It was funny. He went back and forth like from his language to English without any
2.5 minutes
issue.
long.
My God. All right. Let's see where he takes it.
이 자식이 애 뭐라는 거야 지금? 너 보고 졸라 개새끼래. 자 이렇게 알아들으면 돼요. 알아들으면.
Oh, it's Korean.
알아들으면 어떻게 해야 돼?
I thought it was Chinese for a second. Okay.
가만히 있어 그냥? 어? 나보고 개새끼라고? 그럼 나도 한마디 해야지.
Pretenses on how to
I
use son of a
know.
bitch.
So he's like, this is all in Korean. Now he's still saying you fucking son of a bitch.
son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
나도 한마디 해야죠 이제.
We took out the of.
That's great.
Just
하고
son of a bitch.
나서
He's a great
가면
teacher.
돼, 이제.
This is good. I like him.
Well, there's nuances to shit, you
Yeah.
say the word shit, but it can mean 9 different
So many
things.
things.
He's trying to show you the context on how to use this shit.
Yeah.
It's like, this motherfucker right here can go a lot of ways. You
Mm-hmm.
can be like, this motherfucker right here is the man. Or this motherfucker right here is the shit. Or this motherfucker right here is a piece of shit.
Yes.
See, he's teaching you the tools and showing you how to use them.
True.
That's a good teacher. I respect
Yes,
it.
I respect it. All right, last guy, really cool guy right here. You ready for this? I wouldn't mess with this guy.
All right.
I don't know about you.
All right. He's the nunchucking it. Nunchucking it.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Yeah, he's got speed. He's got form. Yep.
All right.
And he
Oh
fucking
yeah, fuck
taking
that
things
box.
out.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Just knocking over these like props that he had set up, but he did it with perfect form and like speed. I mean, it was a bit. It was a bit kind of
Is
like.
he trying to impress women?
I don't know. I
You
think
think he's just like check out my technique, like
Yeah, I
how
think
people
he-
do like fitness videos, but this
maybe
is
he
his.
just thinks he's cool and he likes it, so
He's
he's
just
just like
like,
putting up a little video
yeah.
routine of him like doing his nunchuck
right.
like style. He's not bad.
He's. I mean, technically,
He's
was
proficient
pretty
in the
good,
nunchuck, can't he?
Yeah.
Maybe he really likes like Bruce Lee movies. You
He
know?
could be. He could be a fan. Could be a
There's lot of
fan.
good- There's a lot of good nunchuck in that.
Who knows? All right, let's move on, Danny. Enough talk of these videos.
The guy was a cringe. He was a boss.
Yeah, but none of these were actually too cringe.
I don't know. Those people posing were
This
pretty
guy,
bad.
this guy was kind of. These guys are a little bit.
The
like,
super,
if I
the
saw
super
him-
steady belts were a bit much. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish they built something with more practical use. Like one
Outside
of the
of a
guys just built
con.
like a fucking holster. He
Yeah.
was like, "Look at me! I built a holster." I'm like, "What? How did you
So
build that? That's just the
dumb.
thing."
So dumb. All right, let's move on to news for the week. Not too
Okay.
much news. First story: Jamie Lee Curtis really wants to be in One Piece, and she wants to play the role of there's like an old grandma character in One Piece. She would know
be
this.
Luffy. I would watch
She's
the
gonna
One
be
Piece
Luffy,
One
yeah.
Piece TV show. Jamie
She
Lee Curtis
ate
played Luffy.
she ate the weird
Gum fruit thingy where it gives him his gum
Yes,
stretchiness.
there we go. That's it. Yeah.
I
I'm still
watched
learning.
a little bit of
I'm
One
still
Piece back in
learning.
the day, but I dropped off, and then it made so many more episodes that I just was like, I give up.
This character.
I don't even know who that is, but it's weird.
It's like
It
a
already
weird,
looks
like grandma character, Dr. Kureha. All right, Dr.
All right, let's see what the actual
Kureha.
original version looks like.
Kureha.
because they did like a rendition what she would look like
Yeah.
in an animated form.
Okay,
yeah, I guess, yeah,
I
sure.
kind of see it.
Sure.
All right, so Jamie Lee Curtis wants to play this Dr. Kureha character, and she's been like pushing it hard on social media recently.
Is this because like how everything went out with the Halloween movie and how laughable it was seeing her fight Michael
She's got to
Myers?
find a new franchise.
She's
man.
like, I gotta redeem myself. to the
No,
masses,
she won.
maybe?
She just won an Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she's not. She can't be hurting, right?
So yeah, maybe she is a genuine fan of One
Maybe
Piece,
she's
I
just
guess?
a genuine fan and is just like, I got an Oscar.
It's like a Robin Williams
this is
situation.
It. This is my go-to.
This is like, well, no, it's like or like Henry Cavill, like they're genuine about the franchise and want to be a part of it. So,
Maybe, yeah.
How wild would that be if like Jamie Lee Curtis was like sitting there eating her like Nativia yogurts and watching One Piece and stuff?
Forgot about those.
Never forget about that, man. No.
I'm gonna eventually watch that live action series. I'm still only one episode in, but we'll see. We shall see. Who knows if she'll get the role?
I mean that's interesting. I mean. Yeah, what a weird.
It's just a weird that she's on board, and that it kind of looks. I mean, it works look wise.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that means they won't cast her.
Yeah, that means they probably won't cast her. Right. All right, you brought this up to me. Recently.
The Plex stuff. Oh my
is
god.
cracking down on pirated content. So, did they mention in the article exactly how they plan on doing this?
See, that's the problem, is that they're very vague about it right now.
Yes.
So the implementation, this is like what was going on with the Unity stuff, which we should touch back on that happening again too.
Oh yeah.
But this is like fucking frightening, because the effort and time I put into the Envy server that we have here would be like tragically underhandedly like thwarted if this was implemented and we'd went with Plex instead of Envy.
Yeah,
it's the user the essentially the power user options in Envy made it more tangible and more like enticing. And I was like, yeah, let's pull the trigger on that one and get like the fucking lifetime like subscription and all that, or the lifetime license to give you all the extra bells and whistles. So I'm like, this is great. But if I would have done that and got the lifetime and went through Plex, and then they just like clean house on everything I had, because everything I have is pirated. I've been pirated for like 2 decades now. I can't go back.
I can't go back.
I can't. Won't go back.
So
can't stop. Won't
all
stop.
this tells me is they're gonna like put tracking software in Plex.
What's gonna happen?
So why would you put that on your servers?
What's gonna happen is it's gonna be akin to what the like PlayStation consoles were doing back in like the implementation of the PS3s, like DRM like protection. It'll say, hey, we checked this thing you're trying to play and we think it's pirated, so we're gonna stop the video after like maybe like 8 seconds in. It'll play for 8 seconds and it'll be like, and you just keep trying to skip around and it'll never let you play. So that's what this is gonna do, and eventually people will find workarounds, and then they'll update around the workarounds, and it just becomes another fucking nightmare. And then people shift over to other services, and that might change things. I could see them backpedaling if they lose enough.
Maybe.
Like Unity's backpedaling hard.
How do they make money? I don't know how Plex makes money.
Probably the same way Envy does with the lifetime subscription stuff, or the lifetime licensing fucking perks and shit.
Okay.
The Envy ones was totally worth it, especially for the mobile streaming and all that stuff. Like, I was like, hell yeah. I've already got my money's worth, and it only cost, it was like $70-$80 or something. Yeah. That was years ago at this point.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, I hope that doesn't. They get pushed back, and then that trend starts to recede a bit.
Yeah. So this is new. Recently, the Writers Guild, of today, reached a tentative agreement with studios. We do not know exactly what has happened deal-wise. It's not been signed yet. It looks like it's going to go through around Tuesday, but we got let me see if I can pull this up. Where did I have it? This message that was sent out by the WGA. To be clear, no one is to return to work until specifically authorized to by the Guild. We are still on strike until then, but we are, as of today, suspending WGA picketing. Instead, if you are able to, we encourage you to join the SAG-AFTRA picket lines. So this is just a deal for the WGA, not the actors. No,
not the actors. No,
but
they're still picketing.
This is going to essentially set a template. they're pretty much just copy pasting everything. So whatever this deal turns out, they'll
follow
pretty
suit.
much, they'll follow suit.
Yeah, it's
More or less. So, Danny, your favorite thing, late night television, could be back by next week. By next week. Are you excited?
We keep getting these things in society that take late night television away, and we all seem to be functioning for the better because of it. And I don't know why anyone's taking note and maintaining that. Like, let's just change the paradigm. Let's just let them be. It's come to its natural conclusion. Why are we recorrecting the world just to accommodate for these antiquated fucking talk shows?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't
any
get
of
it.
this.
I don't get any of this. I don't get why we still.
I mean, how impactful were these strikes? Like, remember when the original ones happened that, like, defunct heroes and all that other shit? Like, those are impactful because a lot of shows just went in the can and movies, like, died off. This doesn't seem like it impacted shit.
It's going to make winter and, like, spring and summer of next year really boring.
I guess you're right, because then they'll catch up, because right now things are still coming out.
Who knows?
I mean, they still release new Disney shit all the time.
Bold on Disney to not push back the Marvels, which is coming out like in next week.
I
2
thought
weeks?
that was already out.
A couple weeks? I don't know. I don't care. Because I think they probably saw the writing on the wall that the strikes were going to be over, so they'll have probably a few weeks to promote and whatnot before the movie comes out. Which I didn't even know was a movie. I thought it was a TV show.
Wait, yeah. Actually, now that you mentioned that, I actually was under the assumption that was a TV show, a series, like a mini-series.
It's a movie,
like a 3-part
apparently.
or something.
Whatever.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever, so
then I guess they have no TV shows or something coming out then? They just
nothing.
focusing on Star Wars?
Loki's coming out next month. Yeah, next month sometime. So that's probably their biggest thing, the most interesting thing, unfortunately, is the Loki show.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the better of their shows, but still.
But other than, it's looking bad. It's looking bad. We got everyone's already over the multiverse, and they got 2 more years of it. Oh, man.
Oh, dude, that's all they ever do. I haven't seen a superhero movie that didn't have a multiverse premise come out. Everyone has had it.
Yeah. So,
man.
Yeah, we'll see probably an end to the strike within a week or so. And we'll get back to you on those news later. So what is this more Unity news? The war on Unity strike back.
Well, not only that, but there's developers that are actually coming out there, and they're setting up these kind of situations where I think the game developers that were behind Terraria put out this essential incentive bonus for any game developer company that wants to develop a counter to, or any company that wants to develop something to counter Unity to make in their own right, that's an open source thing that they can work with, they're willing to bankroll in some way. I can't remember the gist of it, but or the whole gist of it, but or the whole take on it, but it seems like they were like, hey, we'll throw down like stupid amounts of money, like $100,000 for someone to create like a new Unity.
Interesting.
In their own way. And it's the people from Terraria.
And it's going to be open source?
Yeah.
It's not going to be in-house for Terraria themselves?
No, this is like just they're just bankrolling it off of their Terraria money.
Ooh,
this particular video was talking about how like all the fucking everyone's turning on Unity, essentially. Like everybody's going. There's people suing Unity. Like there are people that are outright like quitting the company. There's just like it's a mess. That's what that open war video was about. But the other thing that I linked was what was talking about
here we go.
Terraria's company coming out and being like, hey, we're going to just start bankrolling people. Yeah, here we go. This is it.
Nice.
Yeah, Relogic. Yeah, they're the company, man.
Okay.
Yeah. And this
Relogic.
Yeah, here we go.
Interesting.
Yeah. He says we're going to donate $100,000.
Each open source engine listed below. Wow. They're really pushing Gadak, which is a new... language that seems to be people are going for. Most things are written in C# these days when it comes to game coding, so it's curious to see this kind of come out of nowhere and get kind of some traction.
Yeah, because I hadn't heard about any of this stuff until they started bringing it to the forefront and saying like, let's just bankroll these like developments instead of even worrying about these Unity nonsense anymore.
Oh, so Gadat actually is an engine, and it is written in C#. So you're still writing C# game devs?
Oh, but I guess you just take Unity off the table
C#
as like the source of
scripting,
money.
C++, yeah, but it's open. It looks like it's a open source 2D game engine, so they're trying to get people to build on top of that.
And
Right?
they're
Or fork it,
donating
maybe?
$100,000 each to anyone who wants to develop under those open source engines. All right, so incentivize them for development, not to make a new open
So it's
source.
not like from scratch. You could actually build on top of something. which
Yeah,
is
they're not
always
asking them to
smarter.
recreate something. They're asking them just to use what already exists and then begin working there. And
Yeah.
they're giving them investments. essentially.
Interesting. Okay.
Or not even investments, just free money.
Cool. Well, with all the sexy like Unreal stuff, I've been moving away. Like I haven't heard too much about Unity, and this kind of just puts a nail in the head. Like,
Yeah, because the Unreal stuff will handle all that type of game
I don't
development, and this will handle all the lower end type of
this
game
was.
development.
I know people like Unity because of like more indie stuff. That's why I think it's getting a lot of pushback.
But this will get a lot of
this
should shift
should
a
be
lot
interesting.
of indie development will come from this. That's for sure, because it's definitely easier,
Yeah.
and more low key to develop on compared to like the Unreal.
True.
So-
Yeah. So we'll
But yeah.
see. We'll
But it's
follow.
crazy to see people willing to put up money to be like, fuck the Unity like stuff. Like, let's just do our own things.
Yeah.
We don't need them.
Really cool. So we'll keep up on Unity. See what happens next.
See if they fold because of this. That'd be funny.
Yeah, you never
Get
know.
bought up by someone else and
You never
rebranded.
know.
That's how the game works with that stuff.
True. All right, you ready to move forward, Danny?
Let's do this.
All
Jamie Lee
right.
Curtis is buying Unity.
Jamie Lee Curtis is buying Unity. Oh yeah.
She's either gonna do that or get that role.
Eh.
Either a bust or bust.
Or bust. All right, let's move on to our good, our bad, and our ugly. The soundboard's not working.
The soundboard's done.
I'll play.
It's
I'll
dying.
play. I'll play a thing. Doom, doom,
It's cutting in
doom.
post. I'm gonna do the cut symbol sign with my hands right now. That plays good for air, right?
Yeah. All right. Funny. All right. Let's. Oh. Hey, before we do good, bad, and the ugly, let's trick the algorithm in a new game I call a positive thing for the algorithm and a negative thing. So
Okay.
the algorithm likes it when we say things like and subscribe. So like and subscribe, and also 9/11 is a inside job.
Investigate 9/11 and 3/11 both at the same time.
And subscribe. Subscribe, 3/11, 9/11, question mark.
Profit.
Yeah, that's as much marketing as I'll do for the day. Good, bad, and the ugly. Let's start with the bad, Danny, and I'm going to let you go first.
Oh shit, we're starting with the bad.
You want to?
All right,
I'll
let's
let
do
you.
this.
I'll
Let's-
let you start, and I'll let you pick.
Okay. Well, I'm a simple man, so I'm just gonna stick to things in order.
All right.
All
Good,
right.
bad, and the ugly. We'll start with good then.
All right, I'm going to not reinvent the wheel with this one, but my good for this week was season 2 of Ranking of Kings.
Okay.
That anime that I've been trying to get everyone to watch, but no one ever watches.
Right.
But it's really fucking. Oh man, season 2 is a good season because it's essentially much more of a flushing out prequel kind of style.
I've been
season.
wanting to watch this. Honestly.
The 2 seasons are out right now are perfect because the first one sets up the story so well
Yeah.
to get you invested, and then season 2 goes back and kind of fills in blanks for you,
Mm-hmm.
and then ends with them prepping the story moving forward as an overall thing.
Okay.
So you can pop in when season 3 comes out and just be ready to go if you get these all under your fucking docket. But I really recommend like this series overall for anyone who's in a fantasy series or a fantasy anime, anything like that. I feel like they would enjoy this very well. And I keep calling it like the Ranking Kings or the Ranking Kings without the of, so it's like hard for people even to find it probably when I recommend it to. I'm like, look up that Ranking Kings show. It's good. I'm telling you, it's fucking
Ranking-
good. They're like, what the fuck is this? But no, Ranking of Kings. It's solid. It's good.
I hear great
animation.
things.
It's
I think people are turned
good
off by
action.
the kind of the little kid of it all and how, the same reason that I feel like Detective Conan didn't take off too much in the West, at least.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that kind of shonen style protagonist
Kind
can
of-
be off-putting to
Yeah.
a wider
Some
audience.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But But yeah, I've been wanting to watch it. And apparently he's not like that, right? He's actually goes through some pretty crazy stuff.
Well, yeah, there's a reason behind him being a runt is like a whole backstory. It's like a curse that's involved with his birth and his father and all this stuff. But he's also deaf, so he like is technically a character with a disability, and so like he uses that to his advantage.
Right.
And it's interesting to see him develop and play to his strengths and develop an actual technique and actual prowess that he could hold himself in combat with, like flawlessly.
Right.
It's the best swordsman in the fucking land. He's like, oh, I can go toe to toe with you.
Cool.
So it's like a good protagonist. You don't feel like he's underpowered, even though from his appearance you'd be like, oh, this guy's a chump. But no, he impresses you every time. And the character development and the overall cast is wonderful and is very good. It's like a anti, I would say, Vinland Saga, because it's more wholesome and not on the violence.
Yeah.
But it's the same on like the world building and the empire building and the kingdom building and all that.
Yeah.
And the wider cast, the bigger cast.
Right.
But yeah, Ranking Kings.
Ranking Kings. Osama Ranking.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
There you
Check
go.
that shit out. And then just a quick nod to you for recommendations. I checked out that 2007's Control, the Ian Curtis biopic.
Oh, yeah.
About fucking Joy Division.
Yeah.
Great movie.
You liked
Great
it,
movie.
right?
I loved that movie. That was great. That's
All right.
phenomenal.
What was your
Phenomenal.
reaction at the very end? Did you laugh?
When he hung himself?
Yeah, 'cause from what I remember, I haven't watched this in almost a decade. I really enjoyed the movie, and then at the end, he hung himself. Spoilers. It's real life. It's real life.
Himself in 1973.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
hung himself. But like the girlfriend wife is
When she screams and, like,
it's so silly. Though,
It's
right?
the weird
wacky
cadence. It's the
and-
cadence
yeah.
where she's like, ah,
Yeah.
ah, ah. You're like, what?
I remember
But she's like
laughing
I think
hard.
it's they don't, because she's off camera when it's happening, and they show the shot from the flat from the outside,
Right.
And so she's in there screaming with that weird gasp, but they're so far away you're not hearing the gasp well enough,
Right.
And she's really panicking when she's screaming, and that doesn't convey well from that distance. So now it just sounds like a cat almost, or that was comical about it. Where I'm like, oh, you got to pull in on that shot. You got to get better audio on that shot. Where's the boom mic in this? Get that on her. I want to hear her gasping because it just sounds funny.
Yeah.
If you hear her try to breathe in between screaming, then it ups the intensity and you feel the moment. You don't get that loss of immersion. But the part building up to it was pretty sad, and it was pretty gripping, and you're like, oh shit, he's dead now.
He's dead.
Yep, he totally hung his dead, and then they cut to the next scene, and you're like, okay. And then the scream happens, you're like, oh no, and then the credits roll, and you're like, whoa, that was rough. That was rough.
So jarring
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember enjoying it. I have to go back and
Yeah.
watch it myself again.
Yeah, great recommendation. That was a solid
cool.
one. I guess the director who made that has got famous from doing music videos since like 1975.
Interesting.
Like
Okay.
he was friends with a lot of the Joy Division members after Ian's death.
Oh,
And
got
so
it.
this guy actually did a pretty. Everybody says this biopic is actually pretty accurate, but that was great.
Nice.
I love movies like that that are about like biopics about older bands
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. I'll check out next one and check out that Chaplin movie starring Robert Downey Jr.
The RDJ movie, yeah.
Yeah, that
I'm
you
gonna check
recommended.
it out.
I was like, I gotta see that. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that was a thing. I was like, what? I've never heard of this. That sounds perfect. Hell yeah. So that's next on
Nice.
the kudos docket for you.
Cool. Cool,
Yeah,
cool,
that's
cool.
my goods.
Those are good movies. All of them. Check them out.
Mm-hmm.
So my movie is one of the few movies on my server, and I mentioned it like last week when we were at a friend's house, and I rewatched it again.
Okay.
Fallen Angels.
I was going to ask you what the name of that movie was.
fucking
Fallen Angels.
Love
Okay.
this movie. A lot of people like out of Wong Kar-wai's films Chungking Express more, but I like Fallen Angels more. It's just so bizarre between this. It's like two stories between this fixer for a assassin,
Okay.
and it cuts between her and this mute that's just trying to survive in Hong Kong. It's very like 90s art expressionism film. Like there's really no story between like looking and comparing these two stories.
Okay.
And eventually they meet up at the end. But
Oh, nice.
but it's like, you know, it's like late 80s, early 90s, Hong Kong, wide angles. Everything seems claustrophobic and tight feeling. The aesthetic, the cinematography is still great. I love it.
Is it more on the indie end, or does it have slice of life moments where you really feel like just
Slice of life. It does have slice of life moments.
Okay, nice, because you don't get much of that from Hong Kong. More martial arts end,
Yeah.
kung fu end, if you will.
True. True.
This would be nice to see
Yeah.
a different perspective like this.
What has One Car Wide done? I think the last thing I seen was the Grandmasters. Yeah, it looks like.
Oh shit! Okay, he's
Yeah.
that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see.
Oh, 2046. I've heard of that.
Yeah,
too.
24/6. He's
I've
done
heard of that
Chungking,
movie. Okay.
Chungking Express, In the
Yeah,
Mood for
Chungking
Love.
Express. Okay.
That's a big one.
He's got
Let's
some
see.
upcoming.
Okay,
an
here we
upcoming
go.
Movie right there.
Here we go. The 10th of a millimeter apart. Interesting. Looks like.
It's a documentary.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's a docu short that's about his like some sort of film work done.
Okay,
being
so
done.
I guess he hasn't really done too much.
No, most of
since
these are shorts. See
Grandmaster.
You Tomorrow and Grandmaster the most, but he wrote in that one, and
wrote
then that's
this
his
one.
actual screenplay and story in the Grand.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. But yeah, I really liked his work. I didn't like his American film, My Blueberry Nights. That was a weird one.
Never seen it.
Let's see, who's in this again? Jude Law, Natalie Portman.
Okay.
Who else? Anyone? Looks like.
Yeah, I don't recognize any. Oh, Rachel Weisz.
Oh, Rachel. Okay.
The Weisz is in it.
The Weisz. Yeah, this is American film. I remember not liking it. I might have to go check that again. Check that out though again.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
yeah.
gotta check out the just.
Check out Fallen Angels.
Yeah, I
I
was just
really
saying, I gotta
like
check
it.
out this movie
People
first.
usually either hate it or like it. It's like watching a music video almost.
Okay.
In many ways, like there's a mood. It's like people say like mood and vibe and stuff because they're young, but like this is really a movie that's a feeling almost.
What about, is it like Lost in Translation? Where
Little
there's
bit.
a lot of that kind of like drama and emotion, and Lost in Translation very much was like a music video.
A little bit, yeah. You get some of those vibes, yeah, for sure. There's a little bit more humor, I think, in this, which plays to this guy's character who is a mute. Where he's a mute, but he's narrating a lot of things going on in his mind, in his head. Yeah. But yeah, highly recommend this film.
Is it a psychological thing why he can't talk, or is it an actual like? Is that like a
Unknown?
unknown? Oh shit! They keep it unknown the whole time. I like that.
Yeah, I believe.
Okay,
I
they leave it to
believe-
the audience
yeah.
to kind of make their own interpretation. I
Yeah.
like that. All right. I'll
But yeah,
definitely check this
check
out.
this movie out.
Fallen Angels. That I was
Wow.
going to ask you because after Chaplin, I was going to watch this movie, but I couldn't
Nice.
remember the name. Cool. Fallen Angels. That'll be easy. Now.
Cool. All right. What's your bad?
Okay, my bad is a quick one. We're not going to have to dive into it too much because it's like an unnamed director. But the things that it pulls from is actually kind of interesting. It came out last year, and it's an Irish-British film called Lola. It's a science fiction film. And it takes from, as a foundation, it uses a similar concept to what I would consider the most successful to lowest budget sci-fi movie dealing with time travel.
Okay.
Primer. Do you remember Primer?
Vague. Yeah. Okay.
I have to rewatch Primer. I remember Primer being good enough and being like, but for its budget being like, well,
For its bu-
more
there you go, for
entertaining
its
than it
budget.
should be. And so that's why I want to check it out and be like, does it even hold up, or was it just more of a gimmick?
Right.
But it has a similar Primer gimmick, but it also uses found footage
Okay.
in a realm of Blair Witch.
Okay.
But the found footage, and this is when the movie starts to fall apart and loses its like sincerity and generosity.
Right.
The found footage comes across as not serious, but flashback clips in drunk history. Just look at it. Do you see it right there?
Yeah.
So it's just like out of like drunk history.
Got it.
Is what it feels like. But they're super serious in the tone, and they're super serious in the approach. And there's one other thing that they take from another movie that I also bothered me a lot in how they did it. Do you remember Frequency?
Yeah.
With Dennis Quaid. That's
Dennis
actually a good movie.
Quaid.
That's a
Yeah.
decent movie.
And Jesus.
And Jesus. Was it
Caviezel. Yeah.
Caviezel? But yeah, it has a lot of those elements, but it sucks at all of them because none of them mesh together. It feels like a joke. Like it feels like a skit that goes on too long. And that's where I'm like, oh, because it gets really serious because at one point they get all invested. They're like, oh shit, we could deal with and stop World War II from happening.
damn.
Take out the Nazis and like thwart them and stop them from winning. all these big things, but then it just gets silly and falls in on itself. And then there are ways that they try to approach time travel start to take from like things from like Dragon Ball and shit. I'm like, fuck this.
Oh no.
It just falls apart. I'm like, the reason Primer worked is that they tried to keep their already ridiculous plot on it's simple, and they just kept leaning on it. They're like, this is the one plot. This is the one way it works. This is it. They started trying to reinvent it like halfway through the movie, and I'm like, all right, forget it.
Interesting. Okay.
And like I said, you lose immersion when they do like that. It feels like a fucking drunk history clip, and you're just like, oh, you're crying, but I feel like you're laughing. I can't tell, because you sound all funny and look all funny. Just
Interesting.
yeah. And the found footage thing is a tough one. I haven't seen too many movies in the last decade that pulled it off.
It's
maybe two. Last 10 years.
It's tough.
There's been like
it's
30. It's a bad ratio.
I'm over those. They're cheap. That's why you're always going to see them. You can make that for like $1 million and then get 100 times your money back.
That's why I thought of Primer, because I felt like this movie was going a low budget approach to try to then capitalize on a sci-fi premise that involves time travel to really like sell their low budget kind of thematic, if you will. But no, it's not good. The director hadn't done anything, and now he probably won't do anything. So there you go.
All right.
And that's that. But yeah, that just came out like last year. And every now and then I try to watch a modern sci-fi movie, and I usually regret it. They're more miss than hit.
True.
It's like a 2 to 3 ratio for every bad one. There's like a good one.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, that's one thing is you got to recognize is that 99% of the stuff is pretty bad out there.
Yeah. Andrew Legg.
It's that 1%.
He's the director.
Andrew Legg. Leg.
Leg.
Leg. Leger. Leg. I'm just gonna call him Leg.
Yeah. It's
Andrew Legg.
Yeah.
What a guy.
What
a guy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bunch of shorts in this movie.
So mine's going to be even shorter than yours because we'll talk about it later, and it's Spy Kids Armageddon.
No.
It was bad, but we'll bring it up. We'll bring it up in the. We'll bring it up more in the Robert Rodriguez talk after this.
Okay.
But for now, I'll just say it's bad.
Fair.
It's bad.
All right.
Moving on.
All right.
Bam, beat you. Shorter.
Hey,
beat that.
You're right. Actually, I talked way more about this movie than I actually cared about it, so that's fair.
All right, let's move on to Ugly.
All right.
Danny, let's hear it.
It's unfortunate, and it's an ugly bad, but it's the modern take of Takeshi's Castle, the return of Takeshi's Castle. The 2023 Takeshi's Castle is an ugly fucking show. They have a giant Takeshi head that's CG made with run with AI script. It literally is scripted off of AI. And it's terrible to look at. Horrendous.
Yeah.
Beat Takeshi, famed Japanese actor, probably what I would consider as famous as like a Japanese Al Pacino or Robert De Niro, if you will, in their culture, or even globally, if you will, because he's got a lot of reach. And fuck, man, how much do we love like Battle Royale?
Battle Royale.
That's what most people recognize as the teacher from that.
Zatoichi, yeah.
Oh gosh, he has a lot of like
Blind Samurai
great
movies,
stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, Battle Royale is probably the big.
I like his Boiling Point 1 and 2, and then what was it? Outrage, and then Beyond Outrage. Boiling Point they remade into a movie here that starred, I think, Wesley Snipes as like the remake, which was interesting because I was like, just bring over Beat Takeshi.
Yeah.
Fuck it, dub him. I don't care, dude. Jackie Chan. I love his mobster movies. He has a bunch of them.
Boiling Point. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So like this was sad because he wasn't there right away, and I assume he's going to be there later on. But I watched one episode and was like, I'm good on this.
According to IMDb, 8 episodes in the new season.
Okay. So he's only in 8 episodes of like a...
Wait, but that includes... That's all... Isn't there only 8 episodes?
I don't know, actually. I mean, do they count his CG head?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah. If he's credited, yeah.
See, the problem also with that quality of technology coming into it is that they brought back some of the actors that were in the original one, and they've aged a lot. So like these fucking 4K cameras pointing at them don't look well, especially with the makeup on them, not trying to hide their widow's fucking peaks and crow's feet and shit. It's just whatever. And then the guy who was like the commander for like the assaulting forces, the guy who was the like what I considered like the Iron Chef guy of like Japanese game shows.
Yeah.
He's not there. So this guy that replaced him is a younger guy. So you're not getting Beat Takeshi. You're not getting that like the commander for your army.
Right.
You are getting some of the older like competitions. So they're bringing back a lot of the nostalgia in that way, but everything looks super new and they add a lot of tech to it, lights, and overdid a lot of the low quality and low build design of what original Takeshi's Castle had and modernized it too much. It's like watching a sitcom from the 80s and 90s. You don't want to watch like who's watching Seinfeld in 4K? Like that's weird. So this being so high res actually hurts the comedic value. And I like the campiness of the low res older Takeshi's Castle. Circling back to good real quick, 1986 Takeshi's Castle still good. I watched that shit and fucking was great. It held up. It made me laugh. It still felt funny. I didn't even need to watch the Americanized version, the MXC Challenge, where they dub and do all the recuts and all that, like they did with Power Rangers kind of style.
Yeah.
I don't even care for that. Original, subtitled, Takeshi's Castle, perfectly fine. Nothing needed to change about it. Just re-release that and just watch that. This was just like kind of a Frankensteining of older Takeshi's Castle into modern times.
Damn.
And it hurts. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. It felt like they were trying to cash in almost on it a little bit. And for Beat Takeshi not being center stage right at the beginning and this weird floating fucking Wizard of Oz head to be there was just... It was weird, man. It was surreal. I felt super disconnected from it. It felt like it had no heart, had no love. The luster was gone. It felt hollow.
Unfortunate.
And so I was like, I don't like looking at this. I don't like watching this. I'll just watch old ticket. Look at there he is. That was the guy was the general. I can't remember that actor's name, but he was the one at the end who was always like cheering you on. Oh, the part is brutal when they try to cross the pond and then they always slip and then hit their face on the rock that can't move, and you're like,
it's rough.
Such a good show.
Such a
perfect time in Japanese game show history, too.
Yeah.
It was like the burgeoning of what things would become in Japan now.
Yeah.
When you watch, this was like the birth of all that. This was when they really started a lot of those game shows ramping up.
So good.
Before everything turned into like such the crazy shit it is now.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. I can't even. They tried to fucking reinvent it too much. Back then, it was like so pure. You know what this reminds me of is like 90s Nickelodeon when they were doing things like Double Dare and fucking Guts and all that stuff. Yeah.
What would you do? All those shows.
This
those
was their version of that in Japan.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I loved it.
Because when they go back and try to do that now, when they do Double Dare or whatever that shit is, it's weird. It doesn't work anymore. It was a product of that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't reinvent these things or catch that lightning in a bottle again.
Takeshi's Castle, which is probably why you can't find subs, was never it was never brought over to the US, just the MXC version.
Yeah, that's why I only found like the first episode subtitled, and then the rest I just said fuck it, and I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like, I get what's going on, and I know enough like fucking like basic Japanese phrases from anime, so every now and then I was just like, oh shit, that guy said sugoi.
Yeah.
Nani?
Nani?
Takeshi just said what?
I understood him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad he's still alive, though.
Yeah, he's still kicking.
And he makes movies. Apparently, he was busy, and that's why he wasn't in most of the season. That's the little thing they say. Like, they're like, well, Beat Takeshi's his busy life. He's not going to be here all the time. And I'm like, well, then why bring back the fucking show?
Why bring the show
Why
back?
bring back the show? Like,
yeah.
It's like when they got rid of Roseanne, but then still kept doing it. And I was like, I get it. Pay those people. But it's like, this is really weird to watch. I don't know what to say. I guess it's not for us, though. At this point, that Connors show was just for the people who work on the show. It really wasn't.
Was it for anyone?
That's what it was. She said, like, I'll step down from the show, but then still bankroll the show to keep going as the Connors to keep making money for the people who worked on the show.
Don't you just give them money and stop and not waste resources?
I guess to stick to the contract. I don't.
Yeah, I think it's
to fulfill it or something, so they can still keep. I don't know, but that's for nobody else. Like no one's gonna watch that show.
Womp, womp.
I'm sure people do, but still, it's
That's
weird.
sad. You're sad.
Why?
That's unfortunate. Why?
Okay.
Why?
There's so much to watch. Like, you go watch original fucking 1986 Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah. Go watch
Turn
that.
the Connors off and switch over to this. Roseanne will probably watch it with you. She loves that shit. She's a stoner.
There you go. All right. My ugly is a surprising one. I watched this on a limb. Limb?
Out on a limb?
With
a whim?
With a whim, on a limb.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, I lost my train.
Are you gonna go more
Done.
Dr. Seuss with that?
No, I'm done. So I watched it on a whim, expecting it to be utter garbage,
Okay.
and it was surprisingly not bad. It's in the ugly because the animation is not that great. And this is the new Tiny Toons.
Oh,
Tiny
I didn't even know they brought back Tiny Toons.
University? Yeah, Tiny Toons.
Oh, they're in like
University.
college Tiny Toons.
So
now?
yeah, like their original show, it felt like a high school show, right? This
Uh-huh.
one is like it feels very much like a university. They're in dorms now, and but for the most part, jokes
Mm-hmm.
are on point. The first episode, Plucky Duck makes a Darren Aronofsky Black Swan joke in a fucking kid show. And I'm like,
What?
this is and that was the thing
Okay.
about the original show is that like they would make these like it'd be silly,
Animaniacs style.
silly and wacky for kids, but like there's like some like
Mature-
the writing was like
mature
on
nuance.
point. There was some good references within it, and you're still getting it here. Where like that scene, it was wacky, but like that's a Darren Aronofsky joke in a
Yeah.
fucking kid show.
is
It
weird,
was
yeah.
so weird. So like it has some good moments, but animation is just flat. It's not as good.
Doesn't look great,
It
yeah,
sucks.
seen
We're
from this
never.
trailer.
You're never gonna get that animation style anymore, unfortunately, because you can't pay women and children to paint your cells anymore.
Oh, like under the table, like
yeah.
through slave labor.
Yeah, through pretty much slave
Work
labor.
50 hours in a day, and you're like, there's not that much time. And like, shut
So we're
up.
never gonna get that again. But I will say, compared the animation compared to they reintroduced Looney Tunes like 5 years ago.
I was just about to mention that. I was like, are you talking about that?
That was
That was
garbage.
bad.
That was
really
utter,
bad.
utter garbage,
Garbage.
animation wise and writing wise.
Yes, everything about
so
it
the
was
animation
terrible.
is better in this.
At least they captured the spirit of it.
Because you could tell like it's flat most of the show, but when they do a gag, they put a little money into the animation when they do the gags a little bit. But the rest of the show's pretty flat. Writing's great though. That's what makes it an ugly. Is that I was not expecting the writing to be as good. Still, Steven Spielberg's the executive producer, just like the original.
Okay. Wow, that's weird.
I don't know if anyone else is back from the original, producer wise, director wise. I don't know. But I love it. I love it. It reminds me of old Looney Tunes. They're not holding back. It doesn't seem. Well, they're tiptoeing around some things.
Okay.
But
okay, I see.
but you know, in terms
Makes
of like the jokes, they're still doing those hard hitting like cultural references for children,
Okay.
which is crazy.
Yeah, because it was always impressive when you'd watch it.
Yeah.
You'd see those jokes like kind of sneak past you, and then you go back and watch them, and you're like, oh, they referenced some pretty deep shit there. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I liked going back and watching Pinky and the Brain and Tiny Toons, and I saw that they still held up. I do kind of want to go back and watch Animaniacs.
Interesting.
Because they brought that back too,
Did they?
right? I thought they were bringing it back.
Or they're bringing it back, or did they bring? I don't.
I can't remember anymore. But I don't know if old Animaniacs holds up. Pinky and the Brain does, and
The
that's a
songs
segment.
do. I listened to those songs.
those
like
are those
the,
are such good.
the state song and
Yeah,
the,
they're perfect show tunes. They're perfect. They're crafted.
November 20th. It looks like.
Animaniacs is coming back November 20th? Really? I had assumed it already. Oh, no,
2 years ago.
Oh, so it did come back.
So yeah,
So
it came
did
back.
come
Okay,
back. All right, I'm not-
came and went.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And that was the weird one because I always thought Tiny Toons would have been a better choice, but they finally got around to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm glad. I enjoyed it. I'm only halfway through. And I'm enjoying it.
All the same characters?
Yep, all the same characters.
The weird Dodo character or whatever his name is. I can't remember. And the one is like who can go between dimensions.
Oh,
He like
they
breaks
haven't
the fourth
introduced.
wall.
He doesn't. They haven't introduced that one yet. No.
Oh man.
Okay.
He was always the weirdest one because
Yeah.
he could just break the fourth wall
Yeah.
all the time.
True.
Also, you were like, "What are you?"
Yeah. What is it exactly?
I don't know. Are you a bird or some sort of creature?
Right.
I don't know, like a Dr. Seuss novel? What's happening?
Oh yeah. What was it? Yeah, that thing was weird. It was
Yeah,
just
one
like a
time they go to
blue-
his world and shit is crazy.
Oh shit.
And there's all this like it's like an MC Escher painting in there and shit.
Yeah, this dude was like weird looking. Go Dodo.
Yeah, Go
this
Go
guy.
Dodo.
This-
Yeah, he had the little
yeah.
umbrella on his head.
Yeah.
Tiny little like fucking umbrella.
That's funny.
And he had just wings and 2 feet. Yeah,
Does
he was.
show up in the new season.
He was like the Tom Bombadil of the world.
Interesting. Tom Bombadil.
He's just so powerful and exists outside of the story, but was the story.
Looks like he's in it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so he'll show up eventually.
All right.
Cool. Frank Welker?
Yeah,
Really?
well, yeah. Back then, he's still in the 90s. He was doing all
He
the
wasn't
voices.
a big guy. Yeah, you're right. Never
Yeah,
mind.
he was doing
wasn't.
all the voices still.
Yeah.
They were still making Scooby-Doo fucking, like,
Sure.
directed VHS videos with him doing the voices still.
Oh, that's another thing. Whoever does Bugs Bunny and the new Tiny Toons, garbage.
Oh.
Garbage.
Buster
Garbage.
Bunny, you mean?
No.
Right? Buster isn't like...
Buster's fine. I'm talking about Bugs.
Oh, yeah, because they
it's
show
too
up
iconic.
sometimes.
It's
They
too,
show
yeah,
up.
the teachers.
Oh, I
the
forgot.
teachers.
Oh, yeah, they were always the teachers. I forgot that. That was the back
But
premise.
yeah, that voice was terrible.
background
There's
premise.
way more. I've seen just random people on the street do better Bugs.
Yeah, that last Space Jam Bugs Bunny was... I didn't like that movie and didn't want to touch it, but from when I heard him talk, I was like, it sounds like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, it was fun.
I don't even remember, actually. And maybe I'm thinking of original Space Jam Bugs
I remember
Bunny.
the original Space Jam.
And that
I didn't
wasn't-
like it. That was the first time I was like, I've
Oh,
noticed voice acting.
okay.
I was just like,
Okay.
wait, this isn't because I love those old Looney
Looney
Tunes.
Tunes, yeah, they're
So when I
iconic.
listened to when I watched Space Jam, I was like, this doesn't sound right. This does not sound right at all.
I always have that overture
It's
song
not,
that he
yeah.
sings in my head when the
does-
movies are starting. I love it.
Yeah.
yeah, that's...
Bugs
that's
and
sad.
Buster are fine.
They
I don't
should've-
remember their original voice, to be honest, so I can't.
Okay.
I think it's fine though. But yeah, no one beats Mel Blanc. I don't think anyone's ever gonna. No, I can't find out who's Bugs Bunny right now. Whatever. But yeah,
He's dead to Kyle, regardless.
dead. He's
So it doesn't matter.
gone.
It's nothing.
All right. Good choices all around this week.
Indeed.
All right. Let's move on to the main subject. Our man, Robert Rodriguez. We're bringing this up because of SEO, like and subscribe, 9/11, and AIDS.
God damn. Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Robert Rodriguez. What was your first Robert Rodriguez film?
Oh, that's easy. Fucking From Dusk Till Dawn. Whoa, what
Interesting.
a foyer into that. I always thought for the longest time though that was a Tarantino movie because of the style.
Just
And
wrote
as a
it.
kid, I didn't pick up on him being the director. I just remember I was like, Tarantino was in that, so maybe it was his
Tarantino
movie?
wrote it.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
But for the longest time, I thought it was
Rodriguez
just a part of his mythos because
Yeah.
it's tied to his universe still. Like the Gecko brothers are in his overall cinematic universe.
Sure.
Which is strange. So I guess the Spy Kids is the only cinematic universe Robert Rodriguez has, or the Desperado one, right?
Yeah.
I guess you could say
Desperado.
that because that never shows
Desperado-verse.
up in anything else.
Yeah.
He's got two cinematic universes. That's
There you
it.
go. That's
There you go. They're so strange though. It's such a weird contrast. He has this juxtaposition of these super violent Tarantino style movies, and then he has these like very much by the book formulaic family movies.
Yes.
And they exist together, never overlapping, never intersecting or interfering. Just like he'll pump out a bunch of movies, and then he'll pump out a bunch of the other movies, and he just goes back and forth. Because I think at one point he put out like almost 3 Spy Kid movies before he even did like another Desperado movie.
Yeah,
there was
before
like
Once Upon a
Once Upon a
Time.
Time Mexico. Yeah, then he before that he did a few more Spy Kid movies. Yeah, 2 and 3 came
2
out
and
before.
3.
So he made the 3rd Spy Kids movie before he made the 3rd El Mariachi movie.
True.
What is that about?
It's because he built a studio somewhere around this time in San Antonio,
Uh-huh.
and he learned green screen. He was like, I could just do this.
And his kids are coming of age, so it
I could
was-
just do this in my home. Yeah.
yeah, because that's a lot of
No,
the
his kids didn't come of age until when
I
did
thought
that
that was-
shark octopus movie came out?
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Because
that's
those now see
directed by
that's
his
in
son.
that's
Or
in the
it's-
Spy Kids cinematic universe. See, they cross over. At
Do
some
they?
point. No, I don't know.
I don't know.
That-
Yeah.
Literally the same looking movie though. Like it's literally the movie poster looks the same. The
Yeah.
thematic, the tropes, everything in it, the cinematic style, it all looks like made by the same, like, or made in the same universe
Yeah.
essentially. Probably not though. There's still just more of him cashing in on his weird family like franchise that he created a well for and just mined the shit out of. It's strange. It's just like I appreciate his movies overall, but when he started doing more of that stuff, I just started going like, this is a very weird tangent for you to go on in between.
True.
Because I liked this. The Sin City movies are divisive, but I liked those. Even the weird second one that was a prequel slash sequel. And I enjoyed that. I thought his Grindhouse movie was the weaker of the two.
Yes.
I thought Death Proof was by far a way better movie than Planet Terror. But all the El Mariachi movies are phenomenal. Even though the second one is essentially like Evil Dead 2, where it's like a soft reboot and an extension of the first one.
Right.
But still, great fucking movie. Even for as like you want to talk like more. We were talking about Primer and this other movie Lola,
Yes.
where they're low budget. That's a super low budget movie, way better than either of those movies, and way more rough. But still, even as gritty and rough and unpolished as it was, the story and the characters carried very well. Having said that, some of the worst ADR I've ever heard in a fucking movie. El Mariachi. We're talking like the people like The Room with like fucking Tommy Wiseau, where it's just like, yeah, see you later, and he's already walking away, and it's like the conversation's still going on. You're my favorite customer.
Oh man, that's so bad. Yeah, it was only he spent $7,000 on El Mariachi.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe not. I mean, all your friends unemployed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it worked out for him. And his horror franchises are good because like he's got good action franchises. But we talked about this earlier. The Faculty, like that's
Faculty is
fucking great.
I love that
fucking
film.
movie. From Dusk Till Dawn's a great vampire movie. The rest of the series is a little more wild. 2 is a very rough love for me. Like I love it for how campy it is, but I admit it's a fucking terrible movie. It's bad. Even the cast that being as like fun as they are, like doesn't save from Dusk Till Dawn 2. And he just wrote those movies. He wrote, I think, he was like a producer, an executive producer on Dusk Till Dawn 2 and 3. But his movies
And
where
the
he
TV show.
directs and leads, it's like he usually kills it. The Spy Kid movies, just not for me, and not something that makes sense to me.
I actually enjoyed.
Machete makes sense.
I actually enjoyed the Spy Kids, at least 1 and 2. I watched them
Okay,
when I was younger.
that makes sense. We're just
one
old
thing
enough to
that
catch
was
those.
actually like the movies or whatever, the
Or young
generic,
enough,
the
I should
generic
say.
kids movies. But one thing, especially about the second one, I remember specifically, Steve Buscemi plays like a scientist in this, kind of like a neutral scientist. And when he's like talking to the two main characters, which were like little kids at the time, like he's like acting. He's like not like treating them any differently than any other actor that he's ever worked with. I was like, damn, like he's
Buscemi's
going hard
method.
on this kid,
He's
on this
method in
kid's film.
everything.
And
Yeah.
I just contrast this to this very sanitized new one that I just watched, where the writers are talking down to the children that are watching this. It's kind of sad. Like it's almost insulting if they weren't dumb, stupid children.
Mike Judge was in this movie as a
Right?
character. What?
What the heck? I guess so. Huh.
All right, 3 people
Interesting.
you'll typically see in a movie being done by Robert Rodriguez would be like Cheech Marin, Danny Trejo, and then Steve Buscemi.
And that's what's missing in this new Spy Kids.
Neither of those.
Cheech Marin,
Oh man.
Danny Trejo,
and fucking Steve Buscemi.
and Steve Buscemi. This one had the shaloob though.
Yeah.
The shaloob. But that's the thing that's also cool about Spy Kids is like, this is cool. This is all Mexican people. The new one's just like, they're all, I don't want to see these half breeds. Give me full brown sugar, my friend.
That's the thing about Robert Rodriguez is that he heavily casts from his culture and he heavily pulls from the setting. They do a lot of on location shots in places in Mexico for some of his movies that don't even take place there. He's very much like appreciative of his roots. I mean, the fucking Machete is now a Hispanic folk hero that now will exist till the end of time.
Right?
Which Machete? That's a great franchise. All of those. There's like what 4 of those movies? Machete
Is it
Kills.
4?
There's
I only watched the first one.
They're
I
all
don't even
good.
think I'll watch the second one. I mean, they're all the same movie, I assume.
Yeah, but they're
more or
all
less.
still. He kind of leans. It's like kind of. It's the
I just
difference is
remember-
like from Crank 1 to Crank 2. Like he leans into it more in the sequels.
I remember Machete at the end, both the Spy Kids shows up, but they're like adults now. And I was like, that girl's looking nice.
Like a fine one.
That's all I remember. That's all I remember.
Like a fine one. Yeah, it's surprising when you see the Spy Kids grown up. That's why I was assuming the new movie would just be them as adults and it'd be their children. And I'm like, all right, everything's gone full circle.
You think?
But no.
No. You
I
get
thought
Shazam.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Zachary Levi. There's magical performance.
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi.
Oh
Levi
my
Strauss.
god. So, and that's the thing about this new one is it's essentially a soft reboot, but they fuse the first one and the third one together into one film, which is weird. So the first film is like about a kids show with like weird, goofy people, and they become no, that's the second one. So they're mixing the second and the third one together, but it's like essentially it's like a kids show that's an evil villain, the host of the kids show. This one's a more or less the same thing. It's a video game creator, and he is the villain of it, and it's more or less the same kind of plot that plays out, just with modern take. Again, a lot of the writing just feels like they're even the two kids that when they're talking to each other feel like they're talking down to one another.
Oh, weird.
It's not great. It's not like I feel like I said like a 5-year-old might actually pick up on this. Maybe a 3-year-old. No.
I just wish I understood more of his motivation as to why he makes these Spy Kids movies. Besides his advancement in his filming technology.
It's a good question. I think he just wanted to make a kids film.
Well, let's look at his overall work, body of work. So the El Mariachi trilogy in itself is like a love letter to westerns and mafia movies, but with his culture as the backdrop. And so that's his love there to filmmaking. A lot of his other movies are more of like comic book style fandoms, he did Battle Angel Alita.
I forgot about that.
That's his flick. And that's a good. I like that movie a lot. That's a divisive film, kind of like Sin City, but
okay.
And the Machete movies are all kind of feel very comic booky anime style. So it's like he has a lot of that Tarantino fanboy in him.
Yeah,
and that feels like that's his motivation. He never really felt like he's such a super artsy kind of specific art style director. It's more of he's a fan like Tarantino, who, even though they have their own style, you can pick up on it if you've seen enough of his movies. You're like, oh, it's very much Robert Rodriguez has a hand in it.
Sure.
But he still feels more like a genuine person just making movies. Not even a real director, just like a fan that somehow ascended to director godhood amongst others, like him and Tarantino fit. I never say that he's below Tarantino, but he always feels like a guy that is just a regular dude that just happens to be there.
Yeah.
His career, especially if you watch the arc of his career and see him as he's younger and progressing, is very strange. He's just like, oh yeah, I'll make Battle Angel Alita. I remember watching that anime. It's like he feels real like that. With Tarantino, I'm like, you're like a borderline alien. Like I hear you talk about movies I like, but also you don't seem like a real human being.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the permanent cocaine buzz you have or something,
Could
or
be.
your weird foot fetish, but I can't connect with Tarantino like I can Robert Rodriguez.
True.
And,
I get it.
Now,
It's the cocaine.
Now, rounding this out, do you know about his upcoming movie that's going to be released in, wait for it, 2115?
Wait, what?
Yeah, 100 years.
100 years from now?
No.
Wait.
That's actually not 100 years from now, but that's the name of the movie. It's already been in production since 2015. It's coming out 100 years from 2015, and it's called 100. It's just literally called 100, or 100 years, specifically, film. That's it, right there, with John Malkovich.
Okay.
It's a
Robert
movie that him and
Rodriguez.
John Malkovich are working on together that will not be
Okay.
out until after we're all dead. No joke. It is his latest film that
It'll
Robert
be
Rodriguez
leaked.
is working on.
It'll be leaked. There's no way. I mean, he has enough money to hire people at post-mortem, I guess.
Yes, to protect it.
To protect that, because you need a lawyer. You literally need to hire a lawyer up until that point every year. That's a lot of money. So I think he could, but...
I don't know. I'm watching a cam release from South Korea right now, actually.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
We're done.
No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. I'm just kidding. But what is this? What the fuck is this? 100 Years is the name of the movie.
It's-
It comes out in 2115.
So like a...
November, specifically 18th. No, 21. November 18th, 2115. I had to look at that date for so long when I was reading about this, where I was like,
Teamed with Louis 7 Cognac. So this is like almost interesting. I
they're
wonder if this
bankrolling it, yeah. Because fucking,
It's a
fucking
movie,
Malkovich is
it's
the
not like a
spokesperson
short-
for Cognac. So I think that's why he's involved with it.
The safe in which 100 Years was kept showcased at the 2016 Cannes Film Festival and various other cities before being returned to Cognac, France, and the Luis. So they keep it in the cellars where they keep the cognac in a vault. So it's a real film. It's not like a digital, like it's not like, or is it just a USB drive and they put it in this vault?
And is it completed, like completely completed, or is
Apparently,
it just?
people have seen it.
Oh.
But they're showing it at Cannes Film Festival and stuff like that, which makes me believe it's more of an ad than a film and stuff like that.
Maybe.
Because Cannes is also known for a lot, their
Yeah,
film
there's a
festival,
lot
but
of
as
marketing
well
that
as
goes through there.
their like they have an ad like
They're
ads.
not. Yeah, they're
really
not as
into
indie as
ads
they
as well.
seem. Yeah.
So this will be wow. This is interesting.
What a weird. I've never seen. I mean, Orson Welles had that movie that released like 2 years ago, that had been in production for like 50 years or something.
Crazy.
And so that was wild, but this was like one of those things where I'm like, what's Robert Rodriguez doing now? And then I looked at his wiki page, went to the end, and I'm like, what's this 100 Years film? What is this release date? What the fuck is this gimmick? It seems like such a gimmick. It seems it's such a silly viral
It
marketing
exists
gimmick.
in a vault. We could
Yeah.
do an Ocean's 11 type thing and go to France and try to get it.
That would be like that fucking fanboy movie where they're trying to see
Oh yeah, I
episode
remember
1
that.
before
That
the
was-
release
that
date.
wasn't too bad.
That movie holds. That movie's funny, but it's just like the premise where you're like, ooh, how rough.
Yeah.
The last thing that dude saw before he died from cancer was episode 1. And he saw that as like a man in his 20s, not like me when I was like a fucking like 9-year-old kid and I was like having a great time. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, double-bladed lightsabers. There's
Unfortunate.
nothing wrong with this movie.
Yeah.
I'm an adult, and I'm like, this Jar Jar stuff is a problem. This needs to really.
Man,
I'm gonna watch the
all right.
Phantom edit.
I'm gonna watch this. We're gonna watch this.
Well, someday maybe. I mean, all right.
We're gonna make this.
We'll watch it or die
before
trying.
we die. Yeah, literally.
It'll be the last thing I review
Literally.
on my like fucking my hospital bed. And I'll be like, and that movie made me want to drink cognac. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know
But one
because
thing,
nobody knows what it's about. Nobody knows what
No
it's
one
about
knows.
except for the people who've seen it. But apparently they have like NDAs and shit.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to talk about it. So I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? But one thing to note: this isn't just written by Robert Rodriguez. It's also written by his son, who was
Yes.
the writer of the Lava Blade.
Yeah, the
Or is it the
Shark Boy
director?
and
Yeah.
Lava Girl. Yeah, movie.
Yeah, which he did when he was like 10.
Yeah.
Which I think why that
Makes
movie
sense.
is so good. He probably had his son write this thing, and I was like, oh, this is garbage. But when he
just-
write around it, like
He chat
wrote-
GPT'd his son.
Yeah, he chat GPT. His son is like, let me get that creative energy from your mind, and then I'll just
Mold it.
edit that shit. Yeah.
He took the raw ideas. And,
I've never watched it, but people seem to like that.
let's just say they like it the same as the Spy Kids movies.
The Spy Kids, I don't know.
I just don't
Some
get it.
people, I don't know.
I don't know.
Spy Kids is not bad, but I definitely don't recommend the new ones. Too
It's-
sanitized. Not enough Mexicans. Give me more. No, I want more Mexicans in my Spy
fair.
Kids.
Well, I mean, you go to Robert Rodriguez movies, you seem that like he normally would elevate like lower level Hispanic actors into more limelight roles and make that like he made Antonio Banderas. Like I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, he made
Banderas.
Antonio Banderas.
So like I feel like that's something that he could be doing here is making the newest generation Antonio Banderas, so we can get more Zorro movies. Because that second Zorro movie was so bad.
Yeah. Do you want to see a divorce scene in the Zorro movie? Because you're getting it. You're
so
getting
rough.
it. Oh, man.
God.
God damn it.
I never thought that movie would give me PTSD, but it did a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I enjoyed his episodes of Book of Boba Fett that he directed.
Oh, yeah, he does all those.
He did a couple of them.
I
Let's see
thought
what
he
did.
does.
Stranger in Strangeland and season
But
1.
he does all those Star Wars. Like he has his hand in like almost every Star Wars series. Like he does an episode.
No, you're thinking of Filoni, which
No,
also...
no, I don't mean like I mean like he has like he'll do an episode.
Yeah, he directs like a lot
Yeah.
of TV here and there.
But I think he's directed at least one episode in almost every Star Wars show.
Let's see. It just says Book of Boba Fett from what I see.
Rebel Without a Crew, right there. Executive
Oh, that's
producer.
that's his book. Is
oh
it-
no, that is. Oh, shit! I
this
thought it was
is,
Star Wars
Oh,
Rebels.
did he make something based off of his book? Interesting.
Interesting.
Cool.
I was like
I
about.
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I
I thought he had his hand in like at least like the Mandalorian as like an episode showrunner.
It's probably the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
It was those are probably the episodes of the Book of Boba Fett where it was focused on the Mandalorian because they're all like, we can't do a whole show about Boba Fett. What do we do? Bring in the Mandalorian? I guess. Oh.
Let's fucking
Oh.
let's have him write a little bit for that, and we'll go from there.
But I will say last thing about Robert Rodriguez. If you haven't seen it, it was on the original trilogy collection of the El Mariachi trilogy DVDs. It's on YouTube now. It's his 7-minute cooking school. He makes puerco pibil for you, the dish that was in Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
Oh,
that
okay.
Johnny Depp eats.
Yeah.
He makes that, and
Oh,
it's
that shit was intense.
it's just like a little. He just cooks a meal for you. It's great. Go check it out.
Super weird. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that after this. It sounds actually quite amusing. I'm gonna eat and watch him make food.
Nice.
You gotta synergize.
Any final thoughts on Robert Rodriguez?
No, just I can't wait to see that 100 Years movie.
It's gonna happen.
It's
We're
gonna
going
happen.
to do
I'll
it.
live long enough just to see it and then die.
Yeah.
Why not? It's the final Spy Kids movie. I'm like, you tricked me. No,
No, you tricked me, Reed.
damn it, Reed, you tricked me.
It would.
This wooden gun.
God damn, no.
Robert Rodriguez and your wooden gun.
Fun times. Robert Rodriguez, don't stop doing.
What do you
what
speculate he'll
do.
put out before then? Do you think we'll get any more of his previous IPs, or if he's going to do something new, or do you think he's just settled into just doing known IPs or his already existing IPs?
I think he's going to go back to I think the studio's going to force him to probably do a new El Mariachi film or Desperado
See
film.
that coming.
But I think he is going to go back to like a smaller. I don't know. I want to say he would go back to like a smaller Western type film, but then again, like the Book of Boba Fett is probably doing that for him and whatnot. It's getting those vibes from him. But so maybe he'll do. I would like to see more original sci-fi stuff, not things that what's his name wrote and then handed down to Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, you're talking about
I can't think of his name. Avatar.
James Cameron.
James Cameron, yeah. Here's 900 pages. It's not really a fully edited script. Here you go, Robert. Enjoy. What an asshole.
Do you see? Well,
I gotta go make blue people.
What's the last
swim.
thing you've watched of his that was like an original story? Like that was that Affleck film, fucking Hypnotic. That just came out. I can't imagine that's good. Doesn't look. I haven't heard anything about it.
You're right.
And then
honestly, Sin City. Nope, that's not original. Never mind.
No, that's what I'm saying. Go back and it's nothing until maybe
he didn't. Machete, I guess.
Yeah, but see, that's a franchise now. So like he doesn't have anything.
So it'd have to be Death Proof.
Red 11. What do you know about this fucking movie? It's like a sci-fi. Yeah, it's called Red 11. He apparently directed it. Came out in 2019. Oh, it's never got like a wide release.
Interesting.
It's
Probably
like
a pilot and it just died.
No, it's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie?
Yeah, 77 minutes. Came out 2019 in March. It got played at South by Southwest. It's a sci-fi movie. Looks kind of interesting, but I've not heard fucking a thing about this.
Weird.
Which is weird because it's like a sci-fi movie by Robert Rodriguez that's not tied to any of his IPs, so I thought it would be more buzzworthy, but there's not like any reviews on it except the South by Southwest.
Oh
so.
my god, Machete kills in space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the third one, I think. Yeah, because there's Machete kills, and then Machete kills in space. Yeah, they it's like if they made a Crank 3, it would have been the same kind of movie. It's like the natural evolution. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, she ages to a beautiful woman.
Interesting. So I'm excited for more Machete. But yeah, I would like to see an original.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez.
I want to see Robert Rodriguez write and direct an original sci-fi.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I want to see.
Well, watch Red 11 first, and if that works, then want that.
Okay.
But vet it. I just want him to make something new and see how that goes.
True.
And see what he could do with that. I don't want to have to wait 100 years for him to make a different fucking movie. That's
see.
kind of like, come on. Just be like, I want to try something new. I want him to make a full-on Western. Like, not even...
There you go.
Like, because...
Not like those, like...
Mariachi's in modern times.
It's a modern
It was a
Western,
contemporary, though it felt like...
So you want a Western
those would be what would be considered like a neo-Western.
Yeah.
I want him to make a revisionist Western.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what I want to fucking see. I think that would be fucking sex in a can right there. So there you go. That's
All right.
that's my closing thought. Robert Rodriguez make
There you go.
a revisionist Western, and I will be happy.
All right, there you go, folks. That'll do it for us this week. Be sure to check out our website, freespeechgeek.com. Go check out Podcast of X. It's still going on, even without Danny. He doesn't want to talk about X-Men anymore.
You can't force me. Not without a gun.
Okay. All right. Never mind. He'll be back next week, folks.
Well played. Touche.
Be sure to check out both those podcasts, and be sure to subscribe 9/11, and yeah, catch you next week. Thanks for watching that episode. If you enjoyed that, please be sure to check out our latest Podcast of X classics, where we go through some older Podcast of X episodes and re-upload them onto YouTube. And be sure to check out freespeechgeek.com.